The first time someone asked Tomás where he was from, he was 6. He simply pointed toward the station. Not a city, not a street, a train station. Because that's where his life had started, or rather, where someone had paused it. Tomás had been found on a cold August morning in 2003, curled up on a wooden bench at the Buenos Aires Central Station. No adults in sight, no suitcase, no shoes. Just a worn blue backpack and a tight grip on a small hand mirror with a chipped wooden frame. A transit officer approached, expecting a lost child. But Tomás didn't cry. He didn't speak. Just stared into the mirror. Inside the backpack were 2 items: a peanut butter sandwich, half-eaten, and a folded piece of paper, trembling with ink. His name is Tomás. He likes to draw. Please, take care of him. There were no camera feeds working that morning. No DNA records matched. No one ever came looking. He was 5 years old. Tomás spent the next 13 years in the foster system, bouncing from one facility to another. Too quiet, too intense, too obsessed with that mirror. He carried it everywhere. Other kids had stuffed animals. He had a mirror. They laughed. He ignored them. He used it to study his own face. He'd stare for hours, memorizing the angles, the curve of his cheek, the scar on his eyebrow. He'd draw that face again and again. But sometimes he'd draw another one, a woman's, one he couldn't quite remember, but never stopped trying to. At 12, in a fit of frustration, he nearly smashed the mirror against a wall. But his hand stopped mid-swing. He didn't know why. Something about the way it reflected the light, the sound it made when he tapped it, as if it were hollow, as if there was something inside. At 15, he taught himself how to edit videos using public library computers. At 17, he won a regional design contest. At 18, he aged out of the system but received a scholarship to study graphic design at a small university, thanks to a social worker who believed in him. Still, the mirror never left his side. Not during class, not during job interviews, not even when he slept. Most people assumed it was symbolic, childhood trauma clinging to a physical object. But for Tomás, it was something else. It was unfinished. One rainy afternoon, at 23 years old, Tomás was cleaning the display window of a boutique store. The mirror sat on the ledge beside his bucket. Absent-mindedly, he wiped its wooden edges with a cloth and noticed something strange. A seam, just beneath the inner curve of the frame. He tilted it, ran a fingernail along the edge. Click. The backplate shifted. Heart pounding, he peeled away the wood, exposing a thin, sun-faded sticker, barely legible. It was a QR code. He stared at it for a long moment, then pulled out his phone, hands trembling, and scanned it. A browser opened, a loading bar, then a video. Time-stamped, December 17, 2002, the year before he was found.
The screen flickered to life. It showed a young woman, no older than her early 20s, hair tangled, eyes swollen from crying. She sat in a dim room, a single lamp behind her. She looked into the camera and began to speak. "If you're watching this, my love, it means you found the mirror. It means you found me." The woman in the video took a deep breath. Her voice trembled as she spoke, but her eyes never left the lens. "I was young. I was scared. I didn't know how to be a mother. Not then. But I never stopped thinking about you. I never stopped looking." She held up a small, crumpled drawing, a child's sketch of a boy holding hands with a woman. Crude, colorful, labeled in blocky letters, Tomás y Mamá. "You loved this drawing. You gave it to me the night before." She couldn't finish the sentence. Tears blurred her words. She reached for something off-screen. It was the mirror. "This mirror was mine. I gave it to you because it reflects truth, even when it hurts. If you found this video, it means the truth found you too." The screen faded to black. Tomás stared at his phone. He didn't move, didn't speak, just breathed. Something cracked inside him. Not a scream, not even a sob, just the quiet collapse of uncertainty, of years of wondering if he had been forgotten, discarded, unloved. He hadn't been. She had tried.
The next days passed in a blur. Tomás brought the video to the same social worker who had once helped him apply for college. Together, they traced the metadata, cross-checked hospital admissions, consulted missing persons files. Then, a match. A woman named Camila, no surname, admitted in 2003 to a psychiatric facility on the outskirts of the city. No identification, no visitors, no one claimed her. She'd been there for 20 years. Tomás stood outside the hospital with the mirror in his hands. Inside, a nurse guided him through faded hallways. Patients shuffled quietly. A few stared, a few smiled. Camila was seated near a window, thin, pale, her hair now streaked with gray. She was drawing circles on a napkin with a pencil stub. The nurse whispered, "She doesn't speak much." But when Tomás stepped closer, the mirror in his hands caught the sunlight and reflected across her lap. She looked up and froze. Her eyes locked onto his face, onto the mirror, onto the scar above his eyebrow. Then, one word, "Tomás." He nodded. She began to cry. No reunion is perfect. No 20-year silence can be erased in an afternoon. But something real had begun.
Today, Tomás works as an art instructor at a non-profit center for abandoned and at-risk youth. On the main hallway wall, behind protective glass, hangs the mirror, now repaired, reframed, and inscribed with a single phrase, "The truth will find you, even if it has to wait." He never found out who filmed the video, or who hid the QR code. Maybe it was her. Maybe someone helped her. Maybe it doesn't matter. What matters is the mirror spoke, and he listened. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and share your thoughts below. Subscribe to Resilient Stories for more real emotional tales every single week. Stories of strength, second chances, and the quiet power of hope. Sometimes healing begins with just a reflection.